management within the city. Construction of bus terminals in Kampala and metro areas has not yet been done. We look at 2, development of a framework to coordinate local economic development within the Greater Kampala metropolitan area. No legislative framework has been developed to coordinate local economic activities within the Greater Kampala metropolitan area. There you go.
Thank you, Chair. Through the Under Secretary.
You have no plan for sewage, for drainage, for rainwater management. That's why we are having floodings. And mark you are doing roads. You know, I'm not a scientist, the engineer is here. If you construct roads and you have no master plan for drainage, for rain management, these roads will not last. So which one should have come first? You've put a lot of heavy money and equipment during all kinds of roads. No drainage, so where does the water you collect go?
Chair, I would like to that the ministry, with support from JICA, developed Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Integrated Urban Development Master Plan. And this master plan reached the level of approval by Fiscal Planning Board. Because the delay was because at that time the law was being amended and the Fiscal Planning Board then was dissolved. But as I talk now, we have appeared before the Fiscal Planning Committee, Fiscal Planning Board in the NPA. They raised comments and were addressed, and we are presenting the plan to Cabinet. And this master plan caters for transportation issues, caters for drainage issues, and what we are now planning as a ministry is from this master plan we are developing detailed plan for drainages, for transportation, so that we can holistically address the challenges facing Kampala metropolitan area.
So as of now, you don't have?
Chair, as of now, the draft is there, but to be tabled.
No.
Yes,
don't
yes.
talk about the draft.
Yes.
As of now, you don't have. You look at a city where you have no master plan for sewage. And you know the net effect, where you have no master plan. I mobilized, Madam, I mobilized the community to do a road that goes to our area. Just a community road, it's about half a kilometer. Mobilized neighbors, brought our own maram, hired our own compressors. Now, one lousy fellow who contributed nothing, harvested water, and he draws the water straight into the road. And because of that, now the road is in 2 parts, one this way, one that way. And the one who did not contribute, one other fellows who were doing the road just brought and put a fence and covered and never brought money. And it's in Chira. But the committee officer came and said, don't care. There you go. And so many other people are doing their own private roads without a master plan. Can you believe a community like the whole of Chira do not have a sewage system? Every house with the septic tank, septic and what? There's the other one where they put stones, and the shock pit. Then there are young people, poor people who are still depending on spring water. How clean and safe is that water? Everybody is making a compound with now either tarmac or pavers, harvesting tons of water. Who approved that compound should be done with tarmac or a paver in a city? 2, every hill, on top of the hill, they are sending graders to construct on top of hills. I was in China, even if you go to Ethiopia, they can't allow you construct on the top of a hill. Here, it's like you can do anything and get away with it. You have no plan at all.
Chair, I will our specialist in that area, the fiscal planner, Wilson, and the senior economist, Bosco, to say something. But otherwise, we are doing our best.
How? Which best is that one? Yes.
Honorable Chair, as we do proceed, accounting officer is referring to. Accounting officer, we are dealing with a very serious matter. This is a capital city. For me, I'm not convinced with the way you are making your responses, because to you, it seems normal and we can operate like that. Honorable Chair, we are talking about a physical development plan. I would invite the technical person to explain to this country what the importance of a physical development plan is and the impact it has to a city that does not have one. Number 2, you also explain, because for us we are A6 and equivalent, you also explain to the country what a drainage master plan means and what we suffer as a country when we don't have one. Because, Chair, when you see the accounting officer submit, it looks casual and we can operate. You know, we can wait as long as how many years, we can wait. Because, Honorable Chair, no one can believe that Kampala, that has been in place for the last how many years, can operate without a drainage master plan, without a physical plan. We have slums all over. Kampala is very messed up, and we can comfortably say that we have a ministry for Kampala. What does the ministry do? So as he explains, sir, help us appreciate what we suffer without having some of these important documents in place, operational documents.
Chair, I would like to inform honorable members that the Kampala Capital City Amendment Bill gave the responsibility of coordinating physical planning to Ministry of Kampala in 2020. And when that responsibility was given to us, we realized the need to have master plan for Greater Kampala metropolitan area if we are to deliver services to the people in a coordinated manner. And we embarked on development of this master plan, which was a 4-year project. And that is why I'm saying it has delayed, but it is now at the level of being taken to cabinet for approval. And that was after we received that mandate of coordinating physical planning in the Greater Kampala metropolitan area. However, I have my technical team. I first request that.
Now, before you even come, I think we should even have together with one. Because 2.2 also speaks to the same thing. But in 2.2, I have an interest where I want to ask you. The ministry has not here under cabinet extract, this one. The Kampala Economic Development Strategy was approved for implementation under the Ministry of Kampala City Council and Important Affairs. The ministry was mandated to coordinate local economic development of best policies, standards, and plans that support the implementation of whatever. From the review of Kampala Economic Development Strategy and interviews with management, I noted the following. There's one I'm interested in. The ministry had not, there is no framework for the development of youth empowerment centers in every division headquarters with skills development, a business incubation center, and a resource center. Now, last month in Parliament, you brought to this city, you brought parliament for, I think, a giver of land somewhere in Nakawa. Okay? Part of the land you are giving away is for the youth. It was brought here to Parliament for approval that you sanctioned, you are the ministry, a giving away of prime land on what drive is that called? It is in Bugorobi. It is called what? Which drive? One of that land you are giving away. It is called what? You know it? Spring Road? Spring Road. You are giving away prime land, which should have been used for this one. You are giving away to create a furniture shop or whatever center. And the audit is telling you, you've not done your work. Instead, you are giving away that land.
Chair, it is, we appreciate that. Ministry has its mandate and Kampala Capital City Authority has its mandate. Ministry does not have mandate to allocate land. And the ministry plays oversight over Kampala Capital City Authority.
Yes.
However, the issue you are raising here, I am also learning it from here. I need to get more information such that the board that has allocated that land, I get proper information. The only thing is we do not have that mandate to do allocation of land as a ministry.
But you are the overall people charged with planning, oversight, development, and prime pieces of land. Honorable PS, I was here in Parliament when we reversed the law for approval of lease of land. It's because of the country, local governments were giving away land anyhow, and we are losing football pitches, recreation centers, blah, blah, blah. They were being turned into whatever, shopping arcades, golf course, everything was going. Now we said, an approval comes to Parliament. On our watch, they brought here an approval of 2 plots. One was on Namirembe. Another one was on that Spring Drive. When, with my small knowledge around Kampala, I realized the land you gave away and the big chunk of land was supposed to be for the youth development center, and you gave it away. You as an oversight ministry, just watch.
Chair, I request that I get proper information on that issue such that I can be able to adequately give information. I am not really having information on that allocation of that land. Probably it is Kampala Capital City Authority Land Board or Uganda Land Commission that have the mandate, but I need to further investigate on that.
As supervisors, as the people who oversee, that's now your jurisdiction. And you are in the office of the president. That reinforces the psychological mandate. I'm saying psychological, I'm very deliberate. In the face of it, you come with the full force of office of the president. And you are there. You even don't know where that land is. Ask this engineer here, maybe he knows.
Chair, I've said you give us time to find out which land that one is and how it was allocated.
Are you going to give us a brief on how it was allocated and to who
I'll give you
it has been allocated to?
I'll give you a brief on that.
Because it's very important. How do you give away land that was for the youth center? And I'm told it's a huge expanse of land. Just because some, Anyway, without a master plan, the bottom of it is you don't have a plan. Anybody is doing what he wants. Okay.
Chair, I wanted to add members. The ministry, when it came in to develop this master plan, the entities, the KCCA, Wakiso, Chila, and others were working in silos, and each one, KCCA had the master plan, it has a drainage master plan as KCCA. Now the issue was, how do we get them together? That's why we use even the word integrated. We integrate these things. For example, Chair, KCCA, there is what we call Kalidubi channel. One side is KCCA, one side is Machindi Savagabo. Now, in implementation, there would be a problem. So it is a person to come and coordinate these two, to make sure this is constructed. In fact, it's among the projects under this project that's going to be worked on Kalidubi channel in the Masua side. Like Lubiji Chair, you know, one side is KCCA, but the other side is not in the KCCA. So KCCA would only work on this part and leave the other side. So why do we come in with this integrated master plan? To make sure all entities work together. If it is Lubiji, we work through it all. But entities are this physical master, these physical plans, and the KCCA, Onarona Muga, KCCA has a drainage master plan as KCCA as an authority, and the physical plan as an authority. This is what I want to add.
You want to add on? No,
Honorable Chair.
Yes.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm called Hope Granny Nakas, woman member of Parliament, Mubende District. Nalongo. So, Honorable Chair, I'd like to know this from KCCA. You said you have a master plan for the drainage system. Does that mean the Auditor General captured wrong information from you, or it is otherwise? Because we understand once KCCA has a master drainage system or plan, the ministry also has a copy, and so should be in the know, and so would present this information to the auditor.
Thank you, Honorable. I think the auditor was referring to the master plan for the whole Greater Kampala metropolitan area, not only KCCA. That's what we are talking about, that KCCA has, but the one of the Greater Kampala. That's why I say they're working in silos, and we came together to make sure we coordinate it and it works out. But the physical plan specialist is going to add on that.
Thank you, Chair and the honorable members. I think my colleague, specifically to the levels of physical development plan. One of the honorable members wanted to know what a physical development plan is. A physical plan is basically a land use plan that shows various allocation of different land uses, residential, commercial, recreation, and whatsoever. These land uses must be allocated in such a way that there is no conflict or minimum conflict in their uses. That's why at times you find somebody has put his residential home and there is a church nearby which is making noise and they begin to, so there's the issue of compatibility. So land uses are supposed to be in such a way that there is no conflict between the different land uses. I want to come to the issue of the master plan. If you look at the provision, section 18 under the Physical Planning Act, it gives levels of physical development plan, and that is where the confusion is. We're supposed to have a physical plan at national level, which we have. Then the physical plans at the regional level. We have so many regions, and out of which we so far have 3. And the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Integrated Master Plan is one of the 3 regional plans. But before the Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area Physical Development Plan came into existence, the entities or the local governments in this region had their respective physical development plans, which they have been implementing. The issue here was they were working in silos, in isolation.
But sir, we are hearing that silos. You see, the auditor, understand the query, because I'd moved, understand the query. The auditor says, he's talking about Greater Kampala. That story is for you. Of Wakiso, of Mpigi. We are now looking at Greater Kampala metropolitan area. Whether there is a plan for a village, that's a village. We are saying, do you have a plan for this?
Maybe, Honorable Chair, to put it clearly to them, we would pose a question of what is your area of jurisdiction as Minister of KCCA?
Chairs, the ministry covers Kampala Capital City Authority, Mukono DLG, Wakiso, PG, and the 5 municipalities.
Yes, the question is, do you have a master plan?
Chair, we are still developing.
You don't have.
As of now.
As of now, you don't have. Let's put it at that. The other question is, you don't meander Wakiso has its own. You are now that metropolitan. When you take us to the old story of Wakiso, Kampala, then you discount yourself. Because the question would be, are you relevant? Do we need you anyway in the scheme of things? If you take us, then we will ask for your relevance. If there is Wakiso development plan, if there is Mukono, if there is, then do we need you? Do you need this called ministry? Which does not have a plan, does not have a, you know, but so the moment you take us into those subsets of your mandate, it will question your legitimacy. So for me, give this committee an update in writing on the status of a master plan.
Chair will do so.
Tell us at what level you are, what you've done so far,
Chair will do
and
so.
what are the challenges that are failing you.
And we're also going to give you the report.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to avail you.
The report?
With the draft that we have, which we are taking to cabinet.
Okay.
But, Honorable Chair, a question would really ring in their minds as well, and to all of us. What do they now...
That story is for you. Of Wakiso, of Mpigi. We are now looking at Greater Kampala metropolitan area. Whether there is a plan for a village, that's a village. We are saying, do you have a plan for this?
Maybe, Honorable Chair, to put it clearly to them, we would pose a question of what is your area of jurisdiction as Minister of KCCA?
Chairs, the ministry covers Kampala Capital City Authority, Mukono DLG, Wakiso, PG, and the 5 municipalities.
Yes, the question is, do you have a master plan?
Chair, we are still developing.
You don't have.
As of now.
As of now, you don't have. Let's put it at that. The other question is, you don't meander Wakiso has its own. You are now that metropolitan. When you take us to the old story of Wakiso, Kampala, then you discount yourself. Because the question would be, are you relevant? Do we need you anyway in the scheme of things? If you take us, then we will ask for your relevance. If there is Wakiso development plan, if there is Mukono, if there is, then do we need you? Do you need this called ministry? Which does not have a plan, does not have a, you know, but so the moment you take us into those subsets of your mandate, it will question your legitimacy. So for me, give this committee an update in writing on the status of a master plan.
Chair will do so.
Tell us at what level you are, what you've done so far,
Chair will do
and
so.
what are the challenges that are failing you.
And we're also going to give you the report.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to avail you.
The report,
with the draft that we have, which we are taking to cabinet.
okay.
But Honorable Chair, a question would really ring in their minds as well, and to all of us. What do they now to demolish some people's houses and structures if you don't have a master plan?
The master plan gives strategic direction on how each entity develops a detailed plan. And that is the reason why they are saying initially there was plan for each entity, which we have now integrated to enable coordinated planning and implementation of activities in this region. So the master plan we have developed incorporates what was there in all the previous reports. Chair.
Because for us a master plan, what I believe what you need, you are going to not only address issues of drainage, infrastructure development, but amenities, schools, hospital needs, all those other things.
Chair, the report captures all that.
The only reason why we get stuck in a jam, especially early morning, is because parents are rushing their children to what they call good schools in the city center. I want to see how, forget about private developers. I want to see how a municipal master school plan looks like. As the city expands, how are you educating the young ones? Because the people who are extending Kampala are the busy people at night. They are young, they definitely going to have children. Where will your children play from? Those small things, what are the hospital needs? The other day we were looking at, what were we looking at? We were looking at Lubaga division in Kampala. Does not have a government hospital. Are you aware? That Lubaga division, as a whole of it, does not have a government hospital. The whole division. And now you are building a hospital per district. In terms of numbers, Lubaga has more people than almost the whole of Karamoja. But in Karamoja, you have so many hospitals built. Here in Lubaga, zero. What is the people of Lubaga have for a hospital is Mengo, which is a missionary hospital, very expensive. Then there is Lubaga, is it? There is Lubaga, which is very expensive. There you go. Government of Uganda, no hospital. I'm told the Kampala Central has a hospital. It's seen. There is a hospital, a health center for. It is a health center for. So, in terms of, we want to see those things. For example, you moved Shimon, which was here, took it to somewhere in Chira. Does that address the needs of Chira people alone? So you move the whole of Chira and you study how many seed schools you have. In Chira, how many seed schools do you have in Chira? And I want to ask you, how do you justify the whole of Nansana to be one constituency? It's not your mandate, but on your physical plan. How do you advise the Electoral Commission that the whole of that area should have one MP? It has the Nansana municipality, it has Gombe, it has Naweru, one individual. Yet Hiki with 4,000 has an MP. So 2,000 they have an MP. Is here also. Is the Meshemiwa. With less than 1,000 voters. So, honorable colleagues, and that goes with the question of equality. For example, on PDM, Parish Development Model, I want to ask you, without a master plan, how are you feeding in PDM? I chair here Uganda Parliamentary Caucus. We have the biggest population, we get the least amount of money under PDM. It's because you are failing to even have proper numbers for a zone. It goes like that. Proper numbers for parish. Is West still a parish? Boise is still one parish. With what population? These are questions that really for us are pertinent. What's the population of Boise? If I ask a population, is Natete parish or that one? In the around there, you may find you have, in the whole of that area, you have one parish. With what population? How does now one parish chief serve all that big area and those numbers? So without, you see, for us, we are looking at those small things and saying, you guys, are you working? And you speak about health needs. Do you know from, I can tell you, from Entebbe, from Entebbe, now which has been made a hospital, in Greater Wachiso, the next time you'll find a hospital, after Entebbe, where do you find it? You'll go to Gombe in Butambala. You'll go to Mitiana. I'm not so sure whether Luwero now has a hospital. And look at the numbers involved there. And how do you, that's why every day you find these ambulances, all of them coming. But look, how does somebody from, look at where Entebbe is. Stress Wachiso to Nani's constituency in Sobuga, this other side. How does one access Entebbe Hospital? Is there a highway? Busiro, this Busiro of Segona. Where does it quickly up? So really, you are doing us a disfavor by not having a master plan. Because I'm also asking, without a master plan, you are building a very expensive road from Mpigi that has stalled to Kampala. How are you going to link it to the broader road network? That's what you did with this northern bypass and Entebbe. Anyway, maybe.
Chair.
Can we go to section 2?
Yes, Chair, as you conclude on that, the master plan.
And I know the need of being near a health facility. Anyway.
Chair, kindly allow her to take us through this issue of no legislative framework that has been developed to coordinate local economic development within the Greater Kampala Metropolitan. So, Honorable Chair, how does the Ministry of Kampala implement, how do you coordinate the implementation of all these other economic programs without legislative framework?
No, but yes, much as we should. People were selling youth centers, and so give us an update. You are just another entity like any other.
Chair, say that in 2020, Cabinet approved local economic development under Ministry of Kampala for Greater Kampala Metropolitan Area, and we embarked on development of policy for metropolitan governance, and as I talk now, we have already report for the regulatory impact assessment, and we're progressing well with the development of that policy on metropolitan governance. And the report is available for the regulatory impact assessment.
For example, do you know how much money you can make in waste management? But that's for another day. You should speak to Golo. We were in Malaysia, and the Nobel Prize winner was for turning that rubbish into fertilizers. Honorable colleagues, 3 review of implementation of the approved budget. We had a budget of 7.8 million. You get all of it. That's true. That is table 2. Madam, is that true?
Yes, sir.
Table 3, that is how it is. Your salaries are 490 million. Other outputs and activities reviewed. But alarming. Now let me ask you. Where do you get the resources to do these things we are demanding of you? Metropolitan area.
Chair, it's true. In the past, we have had challenge with inadequate funding. However, there is an improvement in our budget. I believe we are going to do much more.
No, because the question why I'm asking, you have 0 budget for development.
Chair, the reason why I'm saying that that was the status quo, but now
you got how much money this coming financial year?
This financial year
for development.
Bosco, can you?
Chair, we have 15 billion for development.
15 billion.
Yes, Chair.
For development.
Yeah.
In the coming financial year.
Yes, Chair. This is the first time we are getting money for development.
So
apart from the external financing on the project, but from GOU.
I mean now ministry, not projects.
Yes,
Your development
yes,
budget.
15.
Because all the things we demand of you, develop a
Chair,
master
we have
plan.
requested for.
Without a budget, how?
Chair, we have written about that. We have so many correspondences, and we are happy that at least next financial year there has been provision of 15 billion to cater for development, and I think we'll do much more than we have done before.
So if I took you to your accounts, okay, on page 18, let's settle that straight away. Is your accountant here?
Yes, Asiat.
Asiat, salam alaikum, where are you?
Alaikum salam.
Okay. Your budget, you had a budget of 7.8. You got the whole of it, you used 7.6. You had the balance of 173 million, which you could not even spend. Is that right?
Yes, Chair.
We are crying you a poor entity, but I mean, you have money you can't even use. Trust fund received from other agencies. You have a budget of 79. You received 79. Are you there? Actual performance of 201. Are you there? Yes, transfer of other agencies. Transfer received from other government units. You had a budget of 79. You revised it, it stayed the same. You performed 201.
Chair, this is revenue that the 201, not more than the budget, is revenue that that came from World Bank for this current financial year.
Are you sure?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
For the project, some
Do you
of it
have
was
your
for
project?
that year.
Do you have your
Specialist.
accounts? Alongside, you go to page 24. Honorable colleagues, we are now going to page 24 of the the project, we are tracing something here of 70. You are saying you got all that 79. Eh?
Chair, we did not get all that budget of 79 because this money was to be transferred to entities. And what we do...
Let's go slow. In your ministry's books of account,
yes,
you are done in initial budget of 79 in the transfers.
Yes, sir.
You revised it. It stayed the same. You never got a supplementary under that line. Total receipt was 201 on that line. Agreed. Eh? Agreed. Total receipt. Now we go to your project where the 79 is. Okay? Because we've traced it back into transfers received from other government. We trace this 79 as a common figure. Walk us through. You take away 60. You remain with the 19. You have 201, which is the same as this other one. Are we there? Walk us through the 60.
Chair, as she comes back on board, this program became effective on 28th December 2023. And as the entities progress with the implementation, we realized that they could not implement all these activities and the resources are absorbed in 6 months. So I wrote to Ministry of Finance to notify PSST of the fact that with delay of effectiveness date, the resources that were initially budgeted for could not be absorbed. And the Chair, I have a copy of the letter with me here to that effect that was communicated.
Writing what?
Informing PSST of the fact that the effectiveness date of this program could not enable entities absorb. There was one thing transferring this money to the entities, and then another thing for them to undertake the activities for which these funds were to be utilized. So, as the procurements progressed, and we realized that the entities could not be able, we wrote in March that we will not be in a position to absorb this money, looking at the fact that the time remaining will not enable the procurement process to be completed and contractors to be brought on board to undertake implementation. So this money was factored in this year's budget before the budgeting cycle commenced. Chair, that is, progressed. Chair, that is what I did in order to make sure that we don't
Can you lay that later? So the 60 million, you transfer it back to Treasury? Yes.
It was not, but it was absorbed to this financial year's budget, incorporated.
No. How did you treat it at the end of a financial year?
Chair, we wrote to notify PSST as the budgeting process progressed that these funds will not be utilized. Because one, there was late commencement of the program. And two, the procurement processes were also now delayed.
Do you have a note explaining that in your books of accounts?